G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie StarCraft, where I am super excited to be bringing you one of my favourite games from the IEM World Championships that took place just the other day. Now, we have cast some amazing games from this tournament thus far, but of the games I watched live during the tournament, I've got to say this one was certainly one of my favourites. So without further ado, in the bottom right of Polar Knight as our red Protoss player, it's going to be CJ enters herO. Now, I think people are pretty familiar with herO. He's had a pretty blazingly strong series here at IEM this year. Managed to win 2 of the respective tournaments, only player to do that this season, so herO certainly coming into this series and this tournament as one of the surefire favourites to win. But as his opponent in the top central location on Polar Knight, and showing it's not his first rodeo, it's going to be San. For those of you who didn't see IEM live, San has had has blazed quite a trail to get here. His last opponent was actually MC, the boss toss himself. So San's conquered a number of strong Protoss players to get here, and actually looking quite good even against herO. So we'll see if San can do it here and move on, or whether herO is going to barrel towards that $100,000 prize pool and be able to take it as some expect. Of course, PvP gives us a few dynamic different styles of opening. You have a lot of variation between players. Some players opting for Stargate play, others going for the Robo. Occasionally you will see a sneaky Dark Templar or two thrown in there in the mix, though. I've got to say, of recent times, the Dark Templar has actually lost a little bit of appeal. People seem to have worked out ways to counter them a lot easier than perhaps they would have been forced to in previous rounds. Even you'll see players at this level, even without detection, do fairly well against Dark Templar, either by force fielding them out of the ramp or just clever base construction to really inhibit the damage they do. So we'll see just how these players decide to open. We actually see herO throwing down a proxy pylon here, and I've got to say this does look a little bit indicative of a proxy Stargate, so I wonder if we will indeed see some sort of Oracle play out of herO. We can see his Cybercore just finishing up now. 2 gas going full on at the 3-minute mark usually means some sort of quick tech, either a Stargate or occasionally a rush for Dark Templars, but given the positioning of this proxy pylon, I'd have to say that a proxy Oracle has to be the best bet out of herO. San actually going for a slightly more aggressive 2-gate opening here, so we should have a fair number of units on the map quite quickly. San actually throwing down a Stalker, so there could well be more than enough Stalkers here ready to deal with this potential Oracle. Of course, we could see something else out of the Stargate. We could see a Void Ray, we could see Phoenix, but arguably if Phoenix were going to be the choice, the Stargate would be produced in the main base and the Phoenix safely constructed from there. But Phoenix, always quite a dangerous unit in a PvP matchup, very good for harassing your opponent, also very good for picking up his units. The battles, particularly early on in a PvP, end up very dynamic between small groups of units. And San here going to be producing a lot more Stalkers, so I actually have 2 Stalkers moving out. Mothership Core actually making its way down towards herO's base, so looking like San's deciding to be the aggressor early on in this game. He's got these Stalkers flying out. Actually got a Twilight Council as well, so we could see quick blink play out of San. We certainly see a lot of Stalkers coming to support it. herO with his worker here, likely looking to establish a proxy pylon shortly. And the Oracle's almost completed now, so we have 1 Stalker in the main base, or 2 Stalkers actually, 1 just completing, a 3rd one coming up from San, so this Oracle could well meet with stiff resistance. herO trying to micro that as best he can, grabbing 2 worker kills and managing to make it out, with that Oracle only taking 10 damage on its hull. So if that's not an example of just how good herO's micro is, I don't know what is. Though we see the Mothership Core of San being a little bit of a pest here, poking away, getting a probe kill and forcing a quick photon overcharge out of herO, which is a real win for San, as San planning to be quite aggressive with these early blink Stalkers. We have herO trying as best he can to get some more worker kills, though these Stalkers from San are fairly well positioned. So Twilight Council now being chrono boosted, so we will be seeing these Stalkers with blink momentarily, and that should scare away this Oracle. We have a proxy pylon established for San, and things looking a little bit dicey for herO. herO could find himself on 1 base against blink Stalker play with no photon overcharge. That would put the game fairly firmly in San's hands. these Stalkers going to move over and kill this, probably kill the pylon first so they're not tied up for too long, and disable this Stargate. So Oracle's still moving around, going to be scouting for pylons and other things, though San just continuing to warp in as many Stalkers as he can, make the most of this blink tech which is on the way. Have blink coming out of herO as well, almost completed here, and that good move for herO. Will be able to match the blink of San, so he won't be quite susceptible to those trades that San will be looking to make. San continuing to try and hold off this Oracle, and you'll see herO keeping this Oracle alive is so much more of a threat than sacrificing it to kill an extra probe or two. 1 or 2 probes, yes, it'll make a little difference, but it won't be a game-changing victory, whereas this Oracle is a perpetual threat for San. Means that San cannot move out with these 9 Stalkers, needs to leave something at home, otherwise herO will swoop in here and just do a lot of damage. So I'm going to force a Photon Overcharge here to force the Oracle away. And those Stalkers actually managed to take it out there. Reveal going down on San's Stalkers, so herO will be very aware for the next 30-40 seconds as to where these Stalkers are. But San instead just going to throw down an expansion, so would have expected him to move out here, but obviously with the tag on these Stalkers, deciding it won't give away the fact he's already dropped his expansion because he doesn't want to move by it and show that to herO, and force herO to actually spot it himself. herO's own Stalkers are moving out, and San just continuing to warp in. We also have a Robo here throwing out a few Immortals, so 1 Immortal almost halfway done. San's going to have to put things on the line. I think the Stalker count is well and truly in herO's favour here. We have 15 Stalkers to 8, so Photon Overcharge is going to be instrumental in trying to hold this back. We have San's actually supply blocked here, so he can't warp in more units. This is quite devastating for herO. He's going to be able to cancel this Nexus, so we have a lot of damage coming out of herO. Nexus being cancelled by San, and San's stuck on 1 base here now. Stuck in his base, stuck a supply block, so he can't warp in more units. 14 Stalkers to 10, though the Immortal on San's side going to make things very difficult for herO. herO could potentially blink up into the base, but got to be very careful now that that Immortal's out. We see herO now throwing down a base of his own, so getting ahead on the expansion count. Every minute's going to matter here. The longer that San's pinned in his own base, the bigger herO's advantage becomes, but herO is rapidly going to fall behind on the tech as these Immortals continue to be chrono boosted out, and San can very quickly here become the aggressor. So we see San poking away at these Stalkers, going to blink on top of the last couple there, but herO's control is just impeccable. You see his Stalkers all still full health, in spite of taking quite a few volleys, almost managing to pick off San's, but a big blink forward from San. He's going to pick off 2 Stalkers there, so nice exchange for San. herO's micro slipping just a little bit here, but the Immortals just do so much, have so much bang for the buck, just the ability to catch and kill these Stalkers. We see herO ready to blink up into the main, if only he can get vision of that high ground. We have San continuing to move out across the map, and Robo finished up now for herO. Immortals on the way, and we have a 4 Stalker hit squad. They've made their way around. They're going to be picking off probes. That's 2 down, 3 down, 4 down. These Stalkers are going to do so much damage. 5, 6, 7 kills already. And that Stalker trying to blink out. Unfortunately, the range does reach the edge. 9 Stalkers, so many workers killed. 14 kills, 15 kills. So these Stalkers just absolutely going to town, but San managing to cancel that expansion of herO. So very, very valuable move in and of itself, but unfortunately taking massive damage to his own economy here. We have herO that's almost completely saturated with 23 of 24 supply. But San here going to muscle his way up. Hallucinated Colossus going to be threatening herO, though herO does have a fairly good indication of what's in San's base. I think he's going to know that's false. As you can see, it hasn't been targeted at all, but excellent angle from San here. He's going to be tearing into the production of herO. These units making their way around. His 1 Immortal just providing, 2 Immortals, sorry, providing so much punch here. The Photon Overcharge continue to pluck away. We even have drones being pulled off here, so this is going to be both players fighting for their life. In the corner of herO space, we have so many drones going down here. Stalkers blinking on top of herO. These Immortals continuing to fire away. 1 kill on the Immortal, but now herO's Immortal has joined the fray. This will be quite instrumental. He'll blink onto the Immortal to focus it down, and San keeps his own alive. Is this it for herO? Is San going to take this game here? Zealots now taking a lot of this damage. herO may hold on, albeit barely. We see 4 Stalkers for San to 5 of herO as he forces San back out of the base. If we look at the workers killed tab, it's 19 to 17. Our players managing to completely equalise there. on the workers killed count. We have the game 14 minutes in. We have both these players virtually where they started, both back to producing probes. That we're up to 14 workers. Sorry, not 14, 16 workers to 18, and bases that are almost completely mined out. Neither player having thrown down an expansion. Neither of them wants to be caught out here with too few units to try and defend. San Chrono boosting out another immortal, but at some point these players have to expand, otherwise it's going to be a one base for the entirety of this game. So it's certainly not something we see every day. It is an expression that the first Protoss player to expand loses, but both these players showing that you throw down an expansion in my face, I am going to get aggro and take that down. So we have one cancelled expansion apiece, and probably 2 or 3 minutes mining left on these main bases. So we'll see just how these players manage to string things together. They are relatively low on armies. Both players still under 50 supply at the 15-minute mark. Certainly not something we can say every game, but each of these units just so valuable here. Looks like San going to throw down his expansion. herO having thrown down his a few moments ago, and herO just continuing to poke up with his Stalker, ensure that he can see the timing of that expansion. Though arguably in the unit counting station we have slight advantage in Stalkers for herO, but San actually has 2 immortals on the field, so San not a lot to worry about here. Going to find it quite easy to hold his base. Got 2 immortals to the 1 of herO that's being produced now, so he does have a fair bit of punch and could potentially do a lot of damage to herO as long as herO doesn't manage to blink back inside his main base. So herO doing a great job though of bluffing. He only has 5 Stalkers out on the map, but using all 5 of these Stalkers to ensure that San doesn't move out across the map. If San moved out across the map now, highly likely that he could force his way through to a win. These 2 immortals just going to provide so much damage here. We have herO trying to chase down this observer, his own observer making its way, and the Stalker going to pick this up, and that's always nice. Deny your opponent vision, as in a PvP, vision and scouting, all important. Well, important in every matchup, but even more so in a game this close. But between these players, as herO actually managing to bluff San here. San thinking he's on the back foot with his tech and his unit composition, but if we check the relative supply of these players, he still is at an immortal advantage. So in a straight up fight, San will do very well. Nexus Cannon though obviously going to cause a few problems for San. Though, yeah, in a straight up fight, San would certainly have the advantage. 3 immortals already on the field. This base coming along nicely now, starting to get completely saturated. Gas coming up as well. So we see the base stabilising as both our players manage to pluck an expansion about the 20-minute mark. We have herO's scouting Stalker here with 7 kills, managing to be fairly consistent at sneaking in, getting a glimpse. herO great at scouting those hallucinated Phoenix and this Stalker, managing to give him quite a good idea of what's going on. Zealot's slowly going to start working his way through the Stargate. Perhaps a clash of the Titans that may actually last the rest of this game at the current rate. And both our players look to be fairly content to continue down the robo path. We do have herO actually finishing his support base, so going to be producing his first Colossi now, and that's certainly going to give him a tech advantage. We have the extended thermal lance as well coming up, so it's going to do wonders for his positioning in these coming fights. The real question is, how does San respond? And San says High Templar, so interesting choice out of San. I think this means we'll see some Archons. Storm not frequently used in PvP. It can be used, but it's certainly not a go-to move. Can do a bit of damage to a clumped up death ball, but certainly not most Protoss players' first choice. They love things like the Immortals, things like Void Rays that do just straight damage output to the other Protoss player. Colossi always a favourite, but you don't often see High Templar used for Storm. I'd imagine that with a little bit of excess gas, that San's deciding he's going to bin that gas in Archons. Very good at tanking the damage and do mass damage to things like Zealots. This Stalker out in the middle of the map going to be taken out very quickly by charge, But we have herO here moving out with a Colossi and 3 Immortals, so it may be small, but this force does sure pack a punch. Slight supply edge for herO at the moment. San taking up position on this watch hour. I imagine we'll see him fall back as he does spot just how much herO has ready to commit there. Both players just continuing to establish proxy pylons. A warp prism from San is going to be an interesting choice. Does this get seen by herO? It looks like it will not. One zealot going to be picked up there, but this warp prism potentially going to be warping in the main base of herO. I love this move from San. Certainly going to give him an edge here, but herO's just going to buckle down and go for the base race. He has the Colossi, baby. We've seen him base race all tournament long. He's just whenever he gets in this sort of position, he's not afraid to say buckle up, base race, baby. And he's going to wait for that photon over. No, we see the Guardian Shield go up, and herO just going to engage here with his Immortal and his Colossi. 2 Colossi, 3 Immortals. He knows that even with that cannon, he can do a substantial amount of damage. We have the Colossi trying to clean up all these Zealots here, but the Zealots doing a stack of damage to the economy of herO. herO now 22 workers lost, warping in a few Stalkers to deal with this, but San just continuing to be cheeky, going to drop those Zealots right on top of the Stalkers, and can he keep alive? No, nice blink will clean it out. That's quite unfortunate for San. That warp prism was giving him a substantial advantage. Stopping the gas mining in the main base is quite a big deal. Actually, I have Tempest out of San now, so if this isn't the wonkiest tech build we've seen in a long time, 4 Gateway, Robo Tempest High Templar on what is essentially 1 base mining. So this is probably one of the silliest PvPs we've seen in a little while, but both these players just at each other's throat for the entirety of the game. Archon's coming up for herO now as well. We have San here with the Tempest going to start opening up here, and that's going to trigger herO to go for it. He knows he's going to make the most of it. These Colossi do drop in about 3 shots from the Tempest, unfortunately. Got to focus fire 1 down. The Tempest is going to be firing at this Colossi. He just keeps alternating between Colossi. He needs to kill one, not poke at both, and 2 of them do go down. We have some Zealots here warping to tank some of the damage. The Tempest continuing to just blast away at these Colossi. Colossi very vulnerable to Tempest. They count as massive air units, and as you can see, these do so much damage against massive air. 80 damage a shot. It's just phenomenal. That's without any form of upgrades whatsoever. So, got to be super careful. Your Colossi just hardly become worth the paper they're printed on at the point that you see hostile enemy Tempests in the sky. We have herO with a proxy pylon right behind his opponent's base with these rocks taken out. That's going to be a clear run for any Zealots that make their way straight into that expansion. San forced to rebuild his mothership core here. Another Archon morphing in. Looks like San may well have the edging composition here. We have 2 Tempests, an Archon and 4 Immortals to the 1 Colossi, 2 Archons and 4 Zealots. So in every single way, San's composition here is going to be superior. We have Dark Templar actually coming up for herO now, when behind Dark Shrine. Arguably, he's quite behind, 102 supply to 72. So we see that San's actually managed to get quite an advantage here. Those Tempests gave him the edge over the Colossi and managing to engage quite well. These Stalkers can blink, but how do you blink away from something with so much range? See San moving out, gaining a little bit more confidence here. He managed to clean up 1 proxy pylon. Fortunately, there is another one here. This ninja probe of heroes is continuing to produce proxy pylons all over the map. We actually see Dark Templar here, and these are moving in to threaten San's expansion. There's no detection here. We have plenty of units. We have an Archon moving out. Unfortunately, going to miss these. These Dark Templar are just going to go to town in the expansion of San. 2 kills, 4 kills. These workers going to die so fast. Their head will spin. 8 workers killed so far from those High Templar. But San, he's not having a bar of it. He's just going straight for it. We need to see an observer here. It is being chrono boosted out. This Immortal. Dark Templar trying to focus the Immortal down. Unfortunately, the probes are forming a nice wall around him. The Immortal's going to be able to hold here, and San just going straight for the base race here. He's got plenty of Zealots to tank here. The Immortals and the Tempest, so that Colossi is going down. Maybe one last shot does take it down. Zealots continuing to tank quite nicely here. The Archons, it's 1 hit away from being killed. 1 more shot will do it, and indeed the Tempest do pluck that off. It looks like San may have the edge here in the base trade, but the Nexus Cannon is doing a lot of damage, almost working its way through that Tempest there. And both these players holding on by the skin of their teeth. More Dark Templar coming in from herO. We see so many workers have gone down. It's 40 workers killed to 26. And herO just trying to interrupt mining as best he can. He's still mining on his natural expansion, though it's far from in a healthy position with this death ball from San hovering right outside the edge of his base. herO's Blinkstalkers are virtually all we have to try and keep this Protoss force at bay. A Nexus Cannon and a few Blinkstalkers. It's a dangerous proposition to be sure. Stalkers staying a little bit too long do get blasted apart by the Tempest. And these two Tempests from San have done so much work. We actually have a Dark Templar in here, 12 kills on this Dark Templar as he just continues to harass and irritate San at every turn. Those observers continuing to get sniped. A few more high Templar warp in here, so another Archon on the way. But San just appears to have the superior composition and the better engagements. herO clinging on for dear life here, but San just able to slowly wear away at him. It's 85 supply to 61. A similar supply difference to what we've seen all game. Stalker's trying to make something happen, but Blink against Tempest, not the best move for positioning. Yeah, but it's hard to say what herO could do better than what he is doing. He's managing to hold his base with just a few units, trying to irritate his opponent at every corner. This probe's going to get sniped by these Blink Stalkers. And San just doing so much damage here, throwing up a cannon. So nice choice there to defend his base. Knows he can move out a little bit more now. We actually have herO throwing down a third base. Like this choice, going to force San to have to move out now. He is at a lesser economy. It's probably herO's best move for getting back in this game. He needs an economic edge as he's way behind his opponent. 30 supply now. And if we check out the unit counting station, going to be 3 Archons, 2 Tempests to the 2 Immortals, and 5 Immortals to the 2 Immortals and Dark Templar of herO. So things starting to look particularly grim for herO. These Stalkers trying to blink their way underneath the Tempest, but Tempest not having a bar of it. 7 kills between them, though it's not all about the kills on the Tempest. It's about the fact that they force engagements. You're able to sit there and continue to pluck away at your opponent. These Blink Stalkers are gonna go for it. Working down this photon cannon, going to mean those Dark Templars can make their way back in. We have a few Zealots trying to warp in to help keep that photon cannon alive. One more shot will take it down. We have herO snuck his army around, and it's base race time, baby. His Immortals are in here. He's dealing damage to the Nexus. Nexus almost dead now. We have San just buckling up and going for it as well. We have 4 Immortals here just plucking away, 4 Archons as well, going to be tearing their way through that natural expansion. It does go down so very quickly. We now have San eating away at the main base of herO. herO likewise going to be smashing the San's base. Not enough units or income actually to warp in anything to defend this main base. This base race is on. It's all over bar the shouting. We have herO continuing to stream units into San's base, but keep an eye on the unit counting station. There is 1 probe from San here hiding on the left hand side. We have a much better army for San, but herO only needs to mop up a few more structures. Main base almost completely dead now of both our players, and it is going to come down to the final moments here. San now lost his Nexus and is being revealed. We have both players being revealed on either side of the map. San trying to clean up these structures as quickly as he can. We have a pylon on the opposite side of the map. It could well be that we see pylon versus pylon as these players rush to clean up. These Tempests going to work down this assimilator. We still have quite a few structures in the main base of herO, though we see San being just a little bit more careful here. He knows that there are Dark Templar on the field. He can't afford to let those anywhere near his pylon, and they are going to start harassing his Archon. We have the Blink Stalkers getting up underneath the Tempest. Unfortunately, a Tempest on the high ground going to be able to blast away at those Stalkers. And looks like San's going to take up refuge at what is about to become his last surviving structure. Gateway does go down. We have a single pylon for San as opposed to all of these structures for herO. The Zealot going to be able to continue to work his way down through these units, but unfortunately herO, with the superior number of probes, managed to re-establish his Nexus. So herO's army may be the weaker army, but if San can't move out, what's a man to do? We have 2 observers here. These really need to get out and provide a bit more vision, particularly when we know there's things like Dark Templar around. We have San going for it, knows he's got to take down that base. Tempest moving out as well, but these Blink Stalkers of herO They can't engage us head to head. These Immortals just way too much damage. If they get in range of those Immortals, they will be dead in seconds flat. And we have San falling back to defend his pylon, but herO's just going for it here. Is he going to blink on top of this pylon? We have San here with a single Archon to try and defend it. The army's making its way down as quick as it can, but herO is just going to engage straight away. He doesn't even care about the units. His Suicide Squad from these doors. They blink on top of the pylon and kill it for the win. herO out of nowhere to take that game. So what a great victory there for herO. We've seen him base race against Huon, we've seen it here against San, and it doesn't seem to matter who his opponent is or what the force are. If we look at the relative army supplies, 6 Zealot, a Dark Templar, 2 Immortals, an Archon, and 7 Stalkers versus 4 Archons, 5 Immortals, 2 Tempests, 3 Stalkers and a Sentry, and still herO manages to make it happen. Pulled the army out of position, blinked on top of that pylon, and managed to take it out. So perhaps San needed to park a few more units there. He did need to move out, but needed to balance his forces just a little bit better. So well done to herO. We'll move on to the next round of this tournament. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was one of my favourite games, certainly my favourite PvP from IEM. Hope you guys got a kick out of it, just like I did. If you did enjoy it and it's your first time on the channel, we'd love to see you subscribe and see you here in the future. We've got regular StarCraft 2 action being uploaded pretty much every day, so come on back. We'd love to see you here on the channel in the future. This is Aussie StarCraft, guys, and I'll catch you in the next cast.